Hi everyone, this is Ocean Spirit Tarot. So now I'm going to do a collective read on whatever wants to come through. But I've been picking up a lot lately on an energy of someone is going through a dark night of the soul. Someone's in heartbreak. You got the Eight of Wands. I feel like the Eight of Wands is someone that wants to communicate but doesn't know how and doesn't know if they should. So we've got the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is definitely that anxiety. Definitely that anxiety that I've been picking up. Someone has... And you got Judgment as well. And that's exactly what I've been picking up lately is someone is being called out by someone close, a close mate, a close family member, someone close to them on their behavior and on the way that they treated you. The person that actually called them out looks at you with a lot of respect, and they actually felt like you bring their mate or their family member up, made them a better person. Them being called out and being forced to look at the things that they didn't really want to look at has really put them... I feel like it's a dark night of the soul. That's the only thing that I can sort of say. Because the Seven of Swords with Three of Swords that's heartbreak. And I actually had a dream of a masculine that was spearfishing with two younger boys, and he caught a big groper. So when it comes to spearfishing, it's all about it's the water, isn't it? It's emotion, and it's deep emotion. And this person in the dream caught like a big groper. And if you know what gropers are, they are they're an ancient animal. Like they're something they're slow moving. They're not something that really, in a lot of places, you can't go spearing. It's illegal to. So it's like in the dream, and the boys ended up walking out, like they got out and they left this masculine behind, this older masculine. And that's all about sort of emotions that they kept hidden and emotions that they didn't want to face, and responsibilities that they walked away from and that they didn't want to look at. And they've kept that buried down really deep, and they didn't want anyone to see or anyone to know how much they actually really felt. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that they were really scared of their emotions, which is part of the reason why they avoid and they run, is that fear. They run from their fear instead of facing it. The other thing that was really prominent in the dream was the fact that this person actually recognized the fact that the hurt that they done towards the mother and children, and the fact that they were the only ones that ever really loved them for who they were and seen them for who they were. So I feel like that was something that was a collective message, because I didn't just have the dream. There was then a really strong feeling last night of... And when I was channeling, it was a person's thoughts just kept on looping and looping, and they were in deep regret, but it was loneliness as well. And not just loneliness, but sadness. Like nothing nothing feels the same with you gone. And that was something that was big. And I feel the pain, and the pain in the chest, like, was probably the biggest thing, that heaviness in the chest. And I feel like this person is finally being faced with the reality of what they've lost. And you can see when you got the Queen of Pentacles and the Six of Cups, and the Six of Cups is like that nostalgia and that deep, strong emotional bond, past lives, but as well a connection that it was really strong and pure. And the Queen of Pentacles is all about stability, and I think that's how this person's seen you, as probably the most stable one out that they've ever met, and someone that really loved them and nurtured them and took care of them and showed them that love and unconditional love. That's something that's really big that comes through, that was just unconditional love. You never judged them for their past, and you never judged them for the things that they would do. Don't get me wrong, I feel like you still called them out on things because you wanted to be a better person. You wanted them to be the person that you knew, the man or the woman that you knew that they could be. And I think that's why they always would run, because of the fear that you could see through them. But not just the fear that you could see through them, but the fact that you bring up that shadow side of them, because you could see their avoidance and the things that they did avoid. And I think this person that has called them out and made them really see like what they have lost, and the fact that they did sabotage a really good connection and someone that was really good for them. And I think this mate or family member could actually see the difference in them and how happy that they were when you were together. And how much you made their life better, just with the love and that nurturing energy that you would bring. You really cared for this person, and I don't think just for them, I think for their family as well. I think you're very genuine, and this person took it for granted. And I think it's something, since you've been separated, something that they've tried to avoid. They've tried to use other people as distractions. I think they've tried to replace you with other people and tried to get back that joy and that happiness and that light back in their life. And I don't think they've been able to find it. I don't think in the time that you've been apart, they've ever been able to find someone that made them feel the same as what you did. But I got a song that comes through as well tonight, and it's, what was it called? Love Me Even When Things Aren't Easy. And that song is all about standing by somebody, even through the hard times, the good and the hard. But even when the darkness comes over, that you still stand there and you still stand by their side. And I think you've done this for this person for a long time. I think even when you were apart, I think you always kept that door open and kept your heart open to this person. I think you wanted them to grow up, and you wanted them to come back and show you the proper emotion that you knew that they had all along. You always could see the love, and you could always see that in them, but they could just never express it. But I think at the end of the day, it gets to a point where you can't keep your heart open forever. You're not there to wait, and you're not there to wait for someone to go through that dark night of the soul and actually really face their shadow. You're there to live your own life. And I think that you've put the work in yourself, and you've worked on the things that you need to work on, and you've healed. And now that you've healed, this person, I think They need to catch up if they want anything with you. I think they see the difference in you now, which I picked up a lot before in a reading. They've seen the change, but there's something that this mate said to him that has really shook him to the core. And it's made him really face what they've been running from all along. Because that's the other thing that I had come over tonight. Not tonight, it was this morning, and it was a crow. I love my crows. They've always been my messengers, and he sat out the back, and every time I would come out, he would let off his, his sound, and he would just crow to me. And then the moment I walk inside, he'd get louder. So then I'd walk back out. He wanted me to take notice, but he was hidden. I couldn't see him. Like, sometimes I'll sit on the fence. Sometimes, like, they'll be around where I can see. But he wanted to stay hidden, but he was high up in the tree. And the crows not only are messengers, but their shadow side. They're all about the shadow side. And they're messengers of what you can't see. And when they do that, they let off their crow. They've all got there's all different sounds. But the one that he had was something coming from a higher purpose. And I feel like this person is going through a dark night of the soul, especially now they've had that realization and they've realized the connection that you did have and the love, and that you were the only person that ever loved them for who they were, and they were ever able to be themselves around. And I think that's something that this mate has said. I think he could see the difference in him when yous were together, and when yous separated, I think he could see as well, like, how crushed and devastated and how much it really took out of this person. But then the other thing was, when I come inside, the crow, he then wanted to go out the front, out near my bedroom window, and he kept on letting off like his sound to let me know. And then he flew north, and north is to do with the masculine energy. And then he circled back around. So I think this person, as much as they try to move on, they always come back, and they just constantly circle around. They have that looping thoughts of you all the time. I don't think you're ever far from their mind. I think they constantly think about things, but at the moment, I think they've really realized that they sabotage this connection, and they sabotage something really good and something that they could have built a life with and a family. And that's what the children in the dream represented as well, was the children and the family that he could have had and that he walked away from. I don't think this person was grown enough emotionally to be able to have that proper connection that they wanted and have that proper life that they wanted, that stability. I think they're used to chaos in their life because they're used to running from their feelings. So they either numb them with alcohol or drugs, anything else. But if they don't do that, they sort of distract themselves with other people. But I think it's getting old. And I think that's the reason why this person's going through this dark night of the soul, because I really feel it. Like, it's heavy and really painful. I think they need it to heal. Everyone knows that when you go through something like that, we run from our fears because it's something that we don't want to look at. But if you can sit there in the darkness and you can face your fears, it hurts. But eventually the light comes back. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. But as well, it's like a massive weight lifted off your shoulders. The moment you can release that fear and you can heal from that fear, and I think that's something that this person's really going through now. I think they've finally realized that they can't keep running. You are someone, and your connection that you've had isn't something that they can keep running from anymore. Sometimes when it's a past life connection, you could be the catalyst to this person's awakening. You could be the catalyst to make them grow up and to make them feel again. Because the other thing that I got as well was something to do with throat chakra. And every time this person learned from a young age that if they spoke how they felt, or if they spoke about how they felt, how they probably felt, or the things that they wanted, or the needs, it would always be associated then with hurt and pain. Which is eventually, as this person's grown up, they've learned to just keep quiet and keep them emotions in. Because I got a lot, the throat chakra is closed off. And I think when going through this, they're starting to realize that they need to speak, and they need to use their throat chakra and speak their truth and how they feel, and not keep things hidden all the time. Because I think when this person did speak, and sort of when their emotions would come up, I think that they were very aggressive and very swordsy in the way that they would like express it, because they didn't know how, which then I think caused chaos within their life and everyone around them, because then I think they took it out on everybody else. And then I think then when they settled back down and they released that pressure, that then they feel bad for what they've done. So it sort of just goes straight back to that childhood fear of, I should have just kept my mouth shut. But we've got the Two of Wands and the Ten of Cups. This is something that they've always wanted. Something that they've always wanted to have. And I think they realised that you were their person, and you were the person they could have had that with. They are standing on the edge, and I think that's about as far as this person always goes. They always just stand and they wait. I don't feel as though this person is ready to come forward, and I don't think they're ready to come forward towards anyone. I think they're really going through a hard time of looking at their feelings and looking at the things that they've done within their life and the hurt that they've caused, not just you, but other people around them. But you are their main focus, and you are the main one you're the catalyst to them really looking at their feelings. I don't think they've ever come across anyone that's been able to make them feel as much as what you have, and to feel as safe and at home like you could, which is the reason why they can't escape this connection. But not only when judgment comes out, that's the universe saying time's up, it's enough. You need to sit within your emotions, you need to sit within this pain, and you need to face it. You need to look at it. And I think that's what's really happening at the moment. Well, anyway, I'm going to leave that there for tonight. I hope that helped anyone that might be going through that or needs it. But give you a little bit more understanding. But I definitely know they're having dreams as well. And you could be picking up on the dreams. There's so much emotion. But there is a cycle that's ending, and I think that's part of the reason why they're having this awakening, because the cycle has changed. You have changed, and I feel as though they really feel the loss of you. And not having you there and not being able to feel even probably energetically you, because I think you're always their comfort zone. And the fact that they can't feel that anymore and they really feel the loss of you is what's bringing in that time to face how they really feel. and to look at it. But they see you as the Empress. You're beautiful, you're sovereign, you're in your own power, and you're not chasing. I think you used to always chase this person because you want to try and fix them. You want to try and help. You had that love there, that unconditional love. And when you've got that and you're as nurturing as what the Empress is, you always have that pull to want to help and want to fix. And this isn't something that you can fix or you can help. It's something that they need to go through themselves. And that's exactly what you realized and what you're doing. They're definitely going to try and manifest you back in. But I think you're manifesting your own dreams now. You left that door open for a long time. And I think you've decided to close the door. You're moving on. I think at the end of the day, you're happy for this person to heal. Not happy that they're going through a dark night of the soul, because that's never easy. But you're happy that they're healing and they're facing it. Because the more they run and the more they try to numb their feelings and not really look at their fears, the harder it is. And the more destruction that they cause in their life. So I think at one point you are happy that they're finally sitting back, isolating themselves and really sitting within that pain and them fears to really look at what they've done and how they really feel. And at the end of the day, if they're meant to come back, they'll come back. But I'm going to leave that there for tonight. I hope that helped, and I'll see you next time. Bye.